I want to tell you about 3 steps you can use to build a habit today, but I want to start off with a quick story first. The other weekend, I was helping my brother clean and declutter our parents' house. Apparently, he's like the Marie Kondo of our family. Everything needs to be like precisely neat and organized. And we came across a stack of old notebooks and started to page through them. As we started going through them, we realized that it was my dad's teenage notebook journal from high school. And we started to see a bunch of his fishing logs, a bunch of like reminders and to-do lists, and even like a highly detailed mechanical boat drawing. No idea what exactly he was doing back then. Maybe it was something to impress my once single mom into going on a boat outing. I am not really sure. If it was, I guess it worked. But shortly after that, we saw his workout routine outlined with exercises and sets and reps, and we started to think this was pretty neat. And then we saw his progression documented not only by his weights increasing as he got stronger, but by his measurement log that he kept. He took measurements of literally everything along the way. He had his chest size measured, waist, thigh, calf, every single thing was measured. He measured his biceps 2 different ways, both flexed and non-flexed measurements. And my brother and I thought this was hilarious until we realized that our biceps were much smaller than his when we were teenagers. And as funny and as interesting as we thought this was, it got me thinking. I used to create Excel spreadsheets of all of my workout programs, and I even had to-do lists for my resistance work, my cardio work, and my sport-specific work throughout the days and weeks when I was a teenager. And it all made me start to wonder how much of this documenting and tracking progress helped us to build our habits today. How did this habit tracking technique lead to lifestyle changes where now working out every day is our default? Well, I did some research and identified the 3 most important steps to build a habit today. And unsurprisingly, the habit tracking technique, the double bicep measurement, was actually one of them. So let me explain. Habit formation is extremely difficult. A lot of times people will start a habit being extremely motivated. So you might start a new workout program, highly motivated. Those first few days working out are exciting, they're fun, but you'll notice that motivation tends to fade fairly quickly. After that, people will then rely on willpower to just grind through a few more workouts, a few more weeks, before they notice that the willpower fades too. And it's why about 80% of people drop out of a workout program within 6 months. And if you think that's a lot, about 93% of people fail to quit smoking, and 95% of people fail to maintain a diet for up to a year. Luckily, I found out that if you start a marriage built off mechanical boat drawings, it has a 0% failure rate, so maybe start with that one. Either way, behavioral changes are just difficult to maintain. Early on, we don't always know the specifics of when we're going to perform a habit, or where we're going to perform it, or how we're going to perform it, and we just get lost early on. But even if we know the specifics, it can be hard just to remember to perform the habit. It's something that just slips our mind. It hasn't been something that's habitual yet, like working out. So even though there are some short-term benefits to smoking cessation, eating healthy, working out, a lot of times these healthy habits have a lot more short-term friction than short-term benefits to overcome. It takes physical effort, mental discipline, and time to instill new habits. And a lot of these benefits aren't seen for weeks, months, years, even decades down the road. And that can make it hard to stay motivated and on track with keeping your habits. But there's obviously people who succeed in this, people who maintain their new habits and make lifestyle changes. So here are the 3 things I've found to be most important in starting a habit today. 1, create an implementation plan. Wow, that sounds fancy. Not really, it's pretty straightforward. So just create a micro plan that defines what, when, and where you're going to start your new habit. And this can be all of one sentence. So for example, I might say I want to start the My Health Sciences bodyweight workout program on Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. in my living room. What, where, and when. And this simple plan that I just created that took all of maybe like 30 seconds to create can increase my chances of continuing that new habit up to 90%. That's a massive amount of difference for just a little bit of work up front. And in this study that I'm going to highlight, they had multiple groups of people attempt to start and maintain a workout program for an entire month. Those that created an implementation plan were 10% more likely to maintain their habit for the entire month than the control group who didn't. So although that doesn't match up with the 90% I just mentioned, it's one study, and 60 seconds up front to create that 1-sentence implementation plan made a 10% difference, which is fairly significant. So why does this work? Well, an implementation plan creates time and space for your new habit to succeed. For example, I've been wanting to correct a number of different postural issues, but it wasn't until that I created an implementation plan where I started performing this new habit. Now I perform 10 minutes of corrective stretches every day in my living room just before I go to bed. And so far, 5 days in, 5 days stretching. Still good. Number 2, set a reminder. Even with an implementation plan that has the specifics for when and where you're supposed to perform a new habit, it can be something that just slips your mind, you forget about it. It's not habitual yet. And so how do you fix that? Set up a reminder. I now have a reminder on my phone to perform corrective stretches every weekday at 10 p.m. just before I'm about to go to bed in my living room. And this is just another example of something that takes maybe 60 seconds up front to perform and just makes a world of difference in maintaining your habit. And in the same study I just mentioned, those that set up a reminder to perform their habit were 19% more likely to maintain their workout habit for a month. Again, that's a big increase for just 60 seconds of initial work up front. And what about those that set up an implementation plan and a reminder? Those that created the implementation plan and then set up a reminder on their phone were 60% more likely to maintain their workout habit through 30 days. So although the implementation plan alone in this one study had only a 10% effect and the reminder had a 19% effect, if you combine both of them, they have a synergistic benefit of increasing your chances of working out for an entire month by 60%. That's a big difference for just 2 minutes of extra work up front. Sounds like easy potatoes to me. Number 3, track it. Let's circle back around to where we all started, habit tracking. There are 2 methods of habit tracking that can be used in isolation or conjunction that are quite effective. First, there's tracking habit execution, and this has a few benefits. One, it gives you an honest look at how often you've been performing that habit. Say I were to do a workout chart, and I know exactly which days I worked out within that 30-day period. There's no more guessing and no more estimating. I have an honest look at my habit execution. And 2, it brings to fruition some of the short-term benefits that healthy habits usually lack. So if I have an exercise tracking chart and I get done with a workout, all I do is I just cross off the day that I worked out, and it makes me feel good. And after workout where I'm crossing off day after day, I can start to see a chain form of consecutive days working out, and that starts to make me feel better and more accomplished, which are things that we don't always feel when going through a new healthy habit. And the second type of tracking is tracking your progress. Progress can be hard to see, especially early on when starting a new habit. You might lose a new pound after exercising for a full week, but just visually seeing that 1 pound loss can be quite motivating. So tracking it can be quite effective. In a study comparing people with weight loss goals, those that weighed themselves more often consistently outperformed those that weighed themselves less often. And so in some cases, people that weighed themselves every day on a scale performed twice as better at reaching their weight loss goal than those who only weighed themselves once a week. Now in this example, I think you can take it overboard and become obsessed with the scale, but the point I'm trying to get at is that tracking your progress allows you to visualize the change, which can be pretty rewarding. I'm sure that when my dad saw that both his flexed and non-flexed bicep were increasing week after week, that motivated him to continue working out. And so this is just another strategy, habit tracking, that can take 60 seconds, not a lot of time up front, but can make a world of difference. So here are my final thoughts. Behavior change is extremely difficult. We're creatures of habit, and changing those habits isn't easy. It requires purpose, discipline, but most importantly, clarity. And if you want to maximize your chances of starting and maintaining a new habit today, then I recommend creating an implementation plan. Set up a reminder to follow through on that implementation plan, and then track both your flexed and non-flexed bicep along the way to visualize your progress. These 3 strategies are what I've found to be most important in creating healthier and happier habits. And by the way, my dad said I've been looking kind of skinny on camera. Maybe? I don't know. I think it's just the angle. I wouldn't say my biceps are small, but I guess they're not that big. Am I skinny? You tell me. I'm not that big, but I don't think I'm skinny. Okay, I'm not jacked, but I'm not skinny. Maybe I'm skinny. I don't know. You tell me. Let me know in the comments below. Am I skinny? Thanks for watching to the end of the video. If you like this video, please enable the like button. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Lastly, if you're looking for a program that implements the habit strategies outlined today to get healthier and happier, check out My Health Sciences Plus. This program provides all the recipes, meal plans, exercises, and exercise programs that I use to get and stay in the best shape of my life. Thanks again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week.